What's up, everybody? Keenan47 aka Wolfkeen here with a Wolf's Word. Now, today on a Wolf's Word, I'm going to be talking about a classic game. Basically, this game just got released on PlayStation Network for $10. So, I want to review it and talk about my honest opinion and see if anybody is willing to check this game out or if they're willing to play it. The game I'm talking about is Persona 3 FES. Now, this game just got released on PlayStation Plus, PlayStation as the PlayStation Store. Sorry, it just got released on the PlayStation Store as a $10 game for PlayStation 2 Classics. So I decided, you know what, I might as well do a review of this game now that it's with PlayStation 3. So this way I can get my thoughts out on it. So let's talk about Persona 3. This game came out like around 2007. Persona 3. It was made by company Atlus, which, as we know, Atlus is critically acclaimed for making the game Catherine, which I did play. I did beat myself, but I'm not going to review because it's a little quirky for me, so I'm not going to review that game. And don't ask, because I really can't. It's a hard game to review, and I really can't give an honest opinion because I'm both ways with it. So, let's get into what Persona 3 is about. Basically, you play as a transfer student going to Tatsumi Port Island. Basically, he's being transferred to this school called Gekukan High. When you're about to go to the dormitories, when midnight comes around, all the power turns off, and then everything becomes more malevolent. Malevolent. It's not even, I don't know, but anyways. Afterwards, you meet this boy and you sign this contract, which is how you name your character. You can name your character anything you want, but for many reasons, because there was a manga for it, there was a manga for Persona 3. Many people know the main character as Minato Arisato. That's Minato Arisato, if I'm spelling it right. Minato Arisato, if I'm even pronouncing it right. But anyways, after you sign this contract, you run into other dorm mates. And of course, that's when you get engaged in school life. About a couple of days later, these beings attack your dorm, and you find out that you have this power called Persona, which you awaken to. And it helps you defeat the shadow that attacked your dorm. And then you find out later that they're a group of Persona users. The dorm mates that you're with, they're a group of Persona users, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with this. Why does the world change at midnight? Why? So their job is to try to figure that out by going to this place called Tartarus. Tartarus is basically like a shadow's lair. Basically a place you can go to level up. Now, let me get into a couple of things. Right in the back it says the best RPG of 2007 gets even better in this definitive edition of Persona 3. This game actually won RPG of the Year in 2007. This was probably one of the last titles to be released for the PS2. One of the few last. Before they decided to finally stop making games for the PS2. And I gotta admit, Persona 3 is fun. But before I get into the bad, let's get into the good. So here's the thing that I like about Persona 3. It's an RPG game, which I'm a big fan of. But here's the thing. You go through school life, and you go through fighting shadows. So basically in the day, you go through a school life, and at night, depending if you want to, you can go to Tartarus to level up. The way they balance this is completely up to you. They don't make you go to Tartarus at any time. So you can go there anytime you want to go level up. So if you feel like, no, I don't feel like leveling up today, I'm going to go get some supplies or something like that. Or go work on a social link. Basically, here's the thing. When you make friends in Persona 3, you develop social links. These social links help you develop the power you need to summon more powerful personas in that arcana. Basically, think tarot cards. If you know what tarot cards are, I think I have them right up here. basically think like these cards in the game, because the Arcanas are basically the tarot cards. Like here's an example of one that would be an Arcana. The well, hold on, let me put the card forward more. The Hierophant. And then you have another one right here. The Fool. You probably can't see it. There, the Fool. So basically, these social links will help you summon more powerful personas, which allow you to, in turn, do better, because you will run into bosses and stuff like that. The story to this game is actually really good. To be honest, the story to this game is actually really good. You would think it's like, oh, it's just a normal dungeon crawler talking about a bunch of school kids. But there are plot twists and stuff like that that make the game even better. The thing is, I could talk about the music, but it's real hit or miss depending on who you are. I could play an example of one song that's from the Persona game right now. Okay, and stop. Anyways, that's like a preview of one of the songs from the Persona 3 game. But, there is a couple of things I have to get into. The music's hit or miss depending on who you are. If you're not a big fan of J-Rock or J-Pop, then you won't like this music. Basically almost like Kingdom Hearts. If you're not a big fan of the Kingdom Hearts music, you're not going to be a big fan of the Persona 3 music. So, music's hit or miss. Character development. There are many ways you develop your character, not only leveling up and doing social links. You see, in order for you to unlock certain social links, you have to work on your character's knowledge, charisma. No, is it charisma? It's knowledge, courage, and charm. Basically, knowledge is like how smart you are. Charm is how good looking you are, I guess. And courage is how brave you are. When these reach certain levels, you can go out with different people. You can meet different people, and you can also go out with different girls. Truth. And these help you unlock more social links, and these also help you unlock more stuff like that. But let me explain something now. Everybody's going to think, oh, I could just pick the worst option possible and still level up my social link. No. You can't. Trust me, I tried picking the worst possible answers. True, my social link leveled up, but my Arcana reversed. Basically, when your Arcana reverses, basically instead of being like upright, it reverses, and basically you and your friend is like in a bad state. So basically, if you try to hang out with them, they're going to be like, nah, I don't want to hang out with you. I'm going someplace else. So, you got to be careful with that, and that can actually prevent you from getting any good personas for a while. Now, I've been talking about the school days for a while. Now let's talk about Tartarus. Now, Tartarus only happens during the dark hour, basically the hidden hour in midnight. You go there to level up with your characters. At the start, you only start with 3, which is basically yourself, another character named Junpei Iori, and a final character named Yukari Takiba. Don't ask me how I remember these names. But anyways, you go through the game, you level them up. Here's the problem I have with Persona 3. It's a grind fest. Honestly, Persona 3 is a grind fest. In order for you to like beat the Master Shadows in like certain areas and to prepare for a real master, you have to grind the ever-living fuck in that place. And here's the thing, they played into effect that you have conditions in this game. So you could be great and ready to fight, but if you stay in Tartarus too long, your character will get tired, and the next day, depending, you can either still be tired or get sick. And this could play into effect. See, if you're sick or tired, you do worse. When you're tired, you don't do as much damage and you take more damage. When you're sick, forget about it. You're fucked. And you can actually make your other teammates sick if you go to Tartarus sick. So they play like a real life role into this. The other issue I have with this game is that there's a time limit. Basically, before you fight a real boss, like a master shadow, you have to level up before the full moon. Tartarus battles can happen anytime. Like, when you reach a certain floor, you'll be told that there's a strong presence in the middle, so that lets you know, okay, there's a master in Tartarus. But a good chunk of the time, you see, the main objective is they're trying to find these 12 shadows and defeat them. These 12 shadows only appear on, well, this is a spoiler, so I'm not going to explain, but they only appear on certain nights. So you have to level up until that certain night, and if you're not leveled up before that certain night, you're fucked, which is why you want to make multiple saves in this game. Like, save 2 nights ahead, so this way, if you go to the boss fight and you lose, you can be like, okay, I need to go back and level up a bit more before I fight him again. But as I said, story progresses, and the game does get more interesting, because you are introduced into a more broader audience of characters. Like, for instance, we've got Yukari Takeba, who is a little, what's the word? She tries to be self-reliant, but at the same time, she could be in over her head. Junpei Iori is almost like, the supposed women's man. At least that's what he thinks of himself, and he tries to make jokes and stuff like that. He's like the comic relief of the group. Now, the other characters they run into, Akihiko Sanada, he's a senior in your group. You will get him later. He's basically like the serious type and stuff like that, like the serious type, and who loves fighting. And then you've got Mitsuru Kurijo, which is the leader of the group, who is the complete, like, let's say, upper class, completely self-reliant, Class A woman. Think like that. I really can't explain her character much, but that's how I can explain it. But as I said, there's more to it than that. You will get more characters. Now, the thing about personas, you have to get them either by A, defeating enemies, or B, fusing your personas to create a new one. But you have to be careful which ones you fuse, because once you fuse those, you lose the one that you lose the 2 that you used, or 3 or more. So you have to be careful of that. Not a bad thing sometimes, because there is a way to store your personas, which you'll learn if you start playing the game. Now, let's get into some of the bad parts. I already explained this game's a grind fest. The music's hit or miss. Another thing, you will die a lot in this game. And if you forget to save, you go straight back to the main menu. It's basically like Resident Evil 2. You die, back to the main menu, and you have to reload your previous typewriter save. Same thing in this game. You die, you go back to the last save, which can get pretty annoying. Like, sometimes I'd be doing really well in Tartarus, and then, an enemy comes up, hits me with an insta-kill move, I lost, I have to replay 2 hours of gameplay. Fuck. So this causes issues, and this will cause you to regrind again. That's a problem with this game. There's a lot of grinding, and you could die a lot in this game. Here's the thing. It's not like other RPGs. You die, over. It's almost like you're the leader of the group. If you go down, it's over. So you have to be careful of that. Now, I'm going to read some more stuff in the back of this thing. Play the original 70-hour game with brand new personas. Yes, this game lasts a long time. I won't lie, because you have many social links you have to do. You have to level up a lot. And you actually get involved in the story because of the characters. And there's plenty of animated scenes in this game. Like, they'll show like scenes that look like they're from an anime, which is cool. I like that. And let's face it, the music is made by famous music composer Shoho Magiro, who's the one that made the music for Catherine. So that's why the music hit or miss if you like J-Rock. But since this is the FES version, it also says, look, play the original 70-hour game with brand new personas events and a hard play mode, or jump right into the 30 hours of new content found in the all-new chapter, The Answer. This is why it's called FES. Basically, the original Persona 3 only had one storyline, and it didn't have all this stuff. Now it has brand new stuff, being able to use personas to create weapons, new personas, and new events. With Persona 3 FES, you also get a new storyline. So Basically, when you're done beating the journey, which is the first storyline, you could play the answer, which is the second storyline. The answer, or AKA episode Aegis, is events after the events of Persona 3. Now, I won't spoil what happens in these events because I can't do that. You need to figure it out for yourself. But I will say the answer is a lot harder compared to the journey. There's no like going to school or anything like that. All you do is fight, which I don't like. I didn't like the answer for that. That all you do is fight. It's only 30 hours. Well, only 30 hours long is one way to say it. But you do a lot of fighting, and it's actually a really involving story, and will answer questions that were left behind in the journey, which I like. I like how they did that. So, what can I say about Persona 3 FES? It's a really good game. Like, if you have $10 on your PlayStation Network right now, play this game. You will love it to death. It's a great story. It's a great game. It has some good music, but it's hit or miss depending on who you are. And it's got great mechanics in it. It's a great game. Now, I totally forgot to mention how they summon personas. They use these gun-like things called evokers. Yeah, they're like guns. And they use, like, point them at their heads and then fire them. And that's how they summon their personas. A little emo, yeah. It does have an emo mood in this game, a little bit. But it's still a fun game, and I love the characters. There's so many of them they can get into. And every single character has their own personality. Even the social link characters have their own personality, which is cool. So that way, you know, you're never missing anything. Unbelievable game for the PS2. If you have PlayStation Network, definitely pick this game up. I don't know if I should give this game a score. If I was to give this game a score, I would probably give it a 9. This game is definitely fun, and it's definitely a good game. So, if I was to give this game a score, it's a 9. But I can't because it's a PS2 title. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give my highest recommendation of this game. If you have $10 in your PSN card, buy it. You will enjoy it. It is a great game, and it should not be missed. It was one of the best PS2 games of my time. Well, next to other games like Metal Gear Solid and stuff like that. But anyways, I digress. That's Persona 3 FES. I'm KeenF47. I hope you check the game out because I had a lot of fun with it. I know you will too. So, catch you all later.